Hello, everybody. This is Corey Funk for Funk's Film Reviews. I was doing short vids of my favorite films of every year and now I'm on 1989. My favorite film in 1989 won the Oscar for Best Original Screenplay. Stars Robin Williams, directed by Peter Weir. It also stars a very young Ethan Hawke, and it stars Robert Sean Leonard. I was brain farting on his name. He was from House and all that, and he plays Neil Perry. It has his father in that that character was from Kurtwood Smith, who was from RoboCop fame as the bad guy, and also Red Foreman from that 70s show and that 90s show. But I definitely prefer that 70s show over that 90s show. But yeah, and it starred Robin Williams plays a teacher by the name of Mr. Keating, and he goes to this class and he starts teaching them poetry and how to live and love and all that with teaching them poetry. And they also find out he had this old secret club when he was a student called the Dead Poet Society. And in the Dead Poet Society, they went and told poems, written poems, made their own compositions and all that. And going back to, I mentioned Robert Sean Leonard, he was part of it and he wanted to be an actor. And his father, who's, like I said, played by Kurtwood Smith from that 70s show, RoboCop, all those movies, good old Red Foreman. But unfortunately, Sean Robert Leonard, or I can't remember if it's Sean Robert Leonard or yeah, I know Leonard's the last name of the character. But his character, because he couldn't do his acting, ends up killing himself. So that moment is a very sad moment. And that moment actually made me cry. And Dead Poet Society's the teacher of John Keating was a very inspiring teacher who wanted his kids to live life and all that. And they all stood up on their desks at the end of the movie and was like, "Thank you, boys." And just, it's one of the most emotionally intense scenes for me. And it's one of my favorite movies of the 1980s in general, Dead Poet Society. And it just does a lot for me, that movie. And yeah, it's probably, I would say, the best movie about a teacher, if that makes sense. I would say it's my favorite movie about a teacher because he literally inspired these kids. And he reminded me of like not my teacher, my principal. I had a principal that I really admired and all that. His name was Ross Young, and still, like to this day, there is not a man at the times when I was struggling and things like that, I went to talk to him. He was just a very, very kind principal. I've had teachers I didn't like too, but Mr. Young wasn't that. And even though Robin Williams' character, John Keating, wasn't the principal, he taught his kids and all that, and his kids admired him. Like getting him into poetry and all that. His students admired. He made those kids live with how they inspired him, like Carpe Diem, seize the day, just the messages of being positive and all that. And but the principal and some of the other teachers and all that didn't really necessarily like his methods of teaching, and they basically forced him out of that. And just like that moment where they get up on the desk like, "Oh, Captain, my Captain," and they all start standing on the desks and all that, and he looks back and he says, "Thank you, boys." That was one of the greatest endings in a film in my entire life. This is one of those rare cases, like I have actually said, that I'm a big Roger Ebert fan, and he didn't give that movie a thumbs up. And I'm like, how could you not? That movie, like I said, to me, it was the best movie about a teacher I've ever seen in my entire life. And he was my favorite teacher. He really got in there and he inspired those kids. And Dead Poet Society actually really inspired me. I want to get writing again. Like, I have been thinking about that. But yeah, so in Funk's film reviews, Dead Poet Society, directed by Peter Weir, which won, like I said, won the Oscar. And even though it was technically won in 1990, it's for I always say the 1989 Oscars, because that's when those films came out, was 1989. But the Oscar ceremonies themselves usually were February of the year after. But, so yeah, Dead Poet Society. My favorite film of 1989. There's a lot of good movies that came out that year. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Field of Dreams, Batman, a lot of amazing films. Do the Right Thing. But to me, it was Dead Poet Society. And it's still to this day one of my favorite films. Thank you very much. My name is Corey Funk. This is Funk's Film Reviews, and Dead Poet Society gets itself double gold. Have yourselves a good one. Bye.